Richie Rich has been a golden part of our childhood, and today, we're about to revisit those unforgettable moments. These are the episodes that made Richie Rich even more legendary. One day, Dollar accidentally steps out in the freezing cold. Irena, being the super loyal robot, runs out to save him because Richie asked her to. Everything is fine until suddenly, Irena's brain picks up a signal from some unknown person. This person orders her to resign from her job immediately. And just like that, Irena gets completely hypnotized. She starts demanding to resign and refuses to listen to anyone. She even says goodbye to everyone and leaves the house like a dramatic farewell scene. Richie, his parents, everyone tries their best to stop her, but Irena doesn't care. A little while later, Irena's boyfriend shows up. When he finds out she quit without telling him, he's completely heartbroken. The poor guy gets so upset that his robot body starts shutting down part by part, total breakdown. Richie somehow manages to handle him and brings him to the professor for repairs. While fixing him, the professor and everyone else start getting suspicious about Irena's strange behavior. That's when they check old video recordings of Irena's creation, and they discover that when Irena was first built, another person was involved. This person knew everything about her. This makes everyone suspicious that this person might be the one who brainwashed Irena. They all decide to find this mystery man. Meanwhile, Irena is already with him, along with the collector. Together, they take Irena to a bank, where they use her to steal an important architect design. After the robbery, they all escape. On the other side, Richie is on a plane when he finds out the shocking truth. Irena has become a thief. After seeing all this, Richie becomes sure that someone has kidnapped and brainwashed Irena. Soon, he also discovers that the stolen design is connected to the collector, and now everything makes sense. Richie immediately goes to the collector's room, but he isn't there. Luckily, Richie spots the collector's flight details and figures out exactly where they took Irena. Next thing you know, Richie and Irena's boyfriend reach the collector together. But as soon as the collector sees them, he orders Irena to capture Richie and his team. Irena, still under control, locks everyone up. It gets worse. The collector gives Irena the final order. Finish Richie. Irena has no choice and starts attacking Richie. But right in the middle of the fight, Irena's boyfriend reminds her of all the good memories with Richie and tells her she could never hurt him. Irena starts remembering everything, and just before hurting Richie, she stops. Once she regains her senses, Irena turns against the collector and attacks him instead. And just like that, Irena comes back to Richie's side, and all misunderstandings between Irena and her boyfriend are cleared too.
Once a week? Oh no, this is just today.
One day, Professor shows Richie his new invention, a super high-tech, burglary-proof locker. According to the professor, no thief in the world could ever break into it. But two sneaky thieves overhear this, and they immediately start plotting. Their only mission? To prove the professor wrong and show the world they can crack this so-called unbreakable locker. Meanwhile, Richie, Gloria, and Dollar head to a circus for a special show. Sadly, poor Dollar isn't allowed inside the tent. Apparently, dogs aren't VIPs at this circus, so he's left outside. Inside the circus, a magician is showing off a crazy act with trained insects bugs that follow his every command like obedient schoolkids. Outside, the two thieves spot Dollar and hatch a wicked plan. They force Dollar into the tent just to create chaos. As soon as Dollar enters, the magician's insects go crazy and start chasing him all over the place. Poor Dollar runs for his life, turning the whole show into insects versus Dog Olympics. In the middle of all this chaos, the thieves kidnap Dollar and take him straight to the professor's super locker. They think Dollar can somehow help them break into it. Don't ask why thieves have weird ideas. Back at the circus, Richie quickly uses one of his fancy gadgets to track Dollar's location. And to his shock, Dollar is at Richie's own house. The thieves were planning to rob Richie's house all along. At the house, the thieves order the trained insects to break the locker. The poor bugs have no choice. So they get to work. The thieves grab all the money and are about to run when, boom! Richie shows up right on time and surrounds them. But here comes the fun part. Richie pulls out a musical device and starts playing a tune that controls the insects. Now the insects switch sides and start attacking the thieves instead. In the end, Richie, Dollar, and the bugs team up to teach the thieves a lesson they'll never forget. Mission complete. Professor's invention safe, Richie the hero, and the thieves totally bugged out. One day, Richie was chilling with Gloria and Dollar, just having a regular fun time. But then, Richie's butler rushes in with a shocking news. A butler has been arrested for stealing a royal jewel. Now, why is Richie's butler so stressed? Because the arrested butler is his cousin, and Richie's butler knows for sure that his cousin can't be a thief. Something's fishy. Without wasting a second, Richie promises to help. Together they head to the jail to meet the framed cousin. That's where they learn the truth. The cousin had unknowingly worked for two suspicious guys who turned out to be real thieves. And before the poor butler could do anything, these crooks framed him and vanished. Richie and his squad immediately start tracking the real thieves. But the moment the thieves find out Richie is after them, they disappear like magicians. Now here comes the twist. Richie realizes he accidentally spent all his money, leaving him with just 80 cents. Not exactly enough for a world tour. Somehow they sneak onto a flight and end up at the thieves' hideout. But thanks to Dollar's clumsy mistake, the thieves escape again, this time to India, where they plan to sell the royal jewel to a king. Richie and his friends also land in India, ready for a dramatic face-off. They even steal back the jewel from the thieves. But just when they're celebrating, the royal king himself arrives, who, surprise, surprise, is actually a police officer in disguise. And guess what? The officer arrests Richie and team on the spot. But the drama doesn't stop there. The two thieves show up dressed as fake police officers and steal the jewel back right under everyone's nose. On one side, the thieves escape again. On the other, Richie and his friends are locked up in an Indian jail. But Richie, being Richie, breaks out of jail, classic, only to find out the thieves are now headed to Japan. Now the team needs a new way to travel. That's when Richie uses his genius brain and sends a super urgent signal to Irona. Irona, being the loyal flying robot she is, flies all the way to pick them up. With Irona's help, they reach Japan, where they track the thieves to a wrestling match. With some clever moves and the help of his butler, Richie crashes the arena, catches the thieves, and saves the jewel. To top it all off, the butler himself ends up joining the wrestling match, and after a hilarious fight, he actually wins. The prize money is huge enough for them to finally fly back home in style. Mission complete, jewel saved, cousin cleared, and Richie's squad back home with bonus cash. That's all for today's Richie Rich nostalgia trip. Money, madness, and memories Richie gave us all. Until next time, stay rich in memories, even if your wallet's empty.